The round of 7 kicks off tonight here at Kentucky Speedway in Sparta, Kentucky, here on JCTV and the Blazer Sim Racing in the Pits News Truck Series. I'm Josh Coppernoll. I'm joined by Adam Kuhn. Adam, we got a lot to talk about, but first, how are you doing?
Evening, Josh. I'm doing well. To call another in the Pits News Truck Series race, like you mentioned here at the Bluegrass State, for some racing at Kentucky Speedway, something we don't see too often anymore. And when we came here last season, Josh, in the Pits News Truck Series, it was a phenomenal race. So why not put it in the playoffs this year and let's see what's going to happen. But first, before we get to that, we're going to start by talking about the first round of the playoffs. Pretty chaotic to get us to the round of 7 here.
Yeah, there was lots going on there in those few races. We started off Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, and I wasn't around for that one. I actually was starting my vacation. I was at my aunt's house in Indiana, but I was watching it. I watched the whole race, and what a wild one that was. I actually saw this man right here on the screen, Cameron Caldwell, take the victory in that one. I mean, it was not easy by any means for Cam to take the win in that one.
No, it was pretty aggressive racing between he and Alonso Chicano for that win. Tristan Maher got by Alonso to get that second place result. And point leader coming into the playoffs, the regular season champion, Michael Kruger, finished in third round at Pocono. Set himself very nicely on the points cushion, Josh.
Next up was a short track race, which we saw at Bristol Motor Speedway. And, you know, the man that won that one, this man right here.
Yeah, Tristan Maher got a little bit of vengeance from the race last season at Bristol. He wasn't able to finish. Got to lead late at Bristol, honestly, this season, Josh. Able to score the victory after some playoff guys around him faltered at the end and battled once again with he and Kruger for that win.
I think the theme here has been talking about Michael Kruger and, you know, coming close. But then, of course, you know, as it goes, last week he was victorious. Michael Kruger punched his ticket into the round of 7 with a win. And he's looking to continue on the hot streak.
Yeah, he did not need that win necessarily to qualify into this round of 7 to continue in the playoffs, but it helps him, Josh. Of course, playoff points going into his pocket to start off this round can be very crucial. We're going to look at the playoff standings, of course, a little bit later, but it's going to be important for him to start off tonight with those extra points because he doesn't want to have to fall back on them here early on in this round. Something he didn't have to do in the round of 10, fortunately for him, so just going to have to, like you said, try and keep up that consistency that we've seen for that 14 truck most of the season. But it was a pretty close finish, of course, last week at Chicagoland, nail-biter. It was a bitter loss for Brett Bennett. Fortunately, he still advanced into the playoffs, Josh, but looking for that first league win here in the Pits News Truck Series still.
And that's actually not what I want to bring up, but to bring up the points, we'll go ahead and look at this anyway. So you see here the schedule. Round of 7 starts tonight. Kentucky, Dover, and the 2008 version of Atlanta Motor Speedway will make up the round of 7 before we head to the Championship 4 at Auto Club. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the points. So here we go. The playoff standings. Top 7 are the drivers that are still in it. Michael Walls, Alex Kerpan, and David Duran were eliminated after last week's event. So, you know, if you're right now, Alonso, Justin, or Brett, you're below the cutoff, but still a ton of points to be made up here in the upcoming next few weeks.
And it's going to be very important tonight with qualifying. Bonus point up for grabs there. Of course, bonus points up for grabs. For leading laps, leading the most laps. That's another bonus. Got the stage at lap 34, so It's going to be very crucial early on in this race with the top 10 getting stage points here, of course, because looking at those points, Josh, unless your name's Michael Kruger or unfortunately Brett Bennett on the other side, you are only 4 points within each other there, second through 6.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I mean, the way that this turns out, honestly, as a broadcaster, I love chaos. As a racer, not so much, but I'm not in the position here, so I'm telling you, if you're one of these 7 drivers, or even really, like you mentioned, second through 6th, you've got to perform your best. So, we've talked about, last round. Want to talk about this round a little bit. I'm going to bring the schedule back up. Of course, Kentucky tonight, another 1.5 miles. And, I think 1.5 miles really could go in favor of Alonso, Chicano, or Justin Durand. I think those guys are, a couple that you've got to watch out for. Currently, Justin Durand is P1 in practice charts, a 30.495. Brian Haynes, just 3/1000ths of a second off of him. And Brian Haynes, of course, not a playoff driver. Then after Kentucky tonight, we see Dover. The Monster Mile, concrete mile-long track, and that track is tough. That track is a really challenging track. It's one where you really need to save your tires, if you go out there driving hard, you're going to fall off quick, and it's obviously very easy for Miles Monster to reach out, grab you, and they call Dover a self-cleaning racetrack. You have got to be careful there. If you're really anybody in the field, but you're a playoff driver specifically, I mean, it's going to be a tough track for these guys to try to conquer.
And we've gone to Dover at least a couple times now in the Blazer Sim Racing League, and every time we've gone to Dover, it's pretty much been a unique race and different names at the front of the field. We see craziness throughout the entire field for most of the race, really, and it's just been different shows from what we come to expect here in the Pits News Truck Series for our usual stops at Dover. I'm going to be very interested to see if that's going to be the case again next week.
And, I think that kind of fits into a place where Michael Kruger really shines. I mean, he has won at Dover in the past in the series, and he's done really well there. The other races, he's been really good at the concrete tracks before, and the other concrete tracks that we visited. So, I think he's going to be one to watch out for at Dover. And, finishing up this round, it is the Atlanta 2008 version. And fans at home may be wondering what's so unique about the 2008 version. Well, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course, it's had a repaint, and it's now a super speedway. Drives like a super speedway. I mean, it's a tough track now. It was a tough track before as well. That's another one where tire saving is going to be key, because, you think the tires are going to fall off hard at Dover. They're going to fall off even harder, I think, at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That track, the 08 version, the surface is so worn out and it's so bumpy. I mean, that track literally eat your tires for breakfast. I mean, you have got to be so careful there. And, you know, I've talked about tracks that I think fit into drivers' styles. If I'm going to think of the Atlanta 2008 version, I'm probably going to say that I think Alonso Chicano is going to be a guy to really perform the best there. Chicano, I mean, he's really good at mile-and-a-half anyway. He's good really wherever you put him. But I think if you take this guy, the Truck Series, put him on a track like that, I just think he's going to be the guy to beat that night.
Bold prediction 3 weeks out, but it's going to be very compelling to see the situations when we get to Atlanta because we don't know what the points are going to look like by then. And a new track for us, of course, after we ran the repaved version of it last season, so it's really just an unknown at this point.
So, in a couple things, you know, I'm not saying Alonso Chicano's going to, you know, win the race. Like, I'm not making picks out that far, and I should tentatively be in that race as a competitor anyway. You know, just kind of drivers I think are really going to perform at those tracks, and you know, and one other thing I do want to mention, Adam. Though I said I'm not predicting Chicano to win that race. I did call an Alonso Chicano win a week before it happened. I don't remember what track I was broadcasting that night, but I remember we were going to Bristol the next week. Chicano had been on a little downfall, and I said, you know, next week it's Bristol Motor Speedway, and Alonso Chicano is going to win that race. The next week, guess who won that race? Alonso Chicano.
I vaguely remember that, Josh. I wonder if that's going to work this time around.
For PBR purposes, I hope not. But, you know, but obviously, again, I'm going to be a competitor in there. I would hope I would win, but you know, Chicano, what can I say about the man? I mean, he's a really good race car driver, and for the longest time before some guy named Jonathan Parker showed up, Alonso Chicano used to have the most wins on JCTV. And I know he doesn't anymore, but he still loves winning. He's still a great driver, and you know, we could see him win any one of these next 3 races. As he's doing burnouts. He might be listening to us right now and doing a little pre-show for what we could see soon.
Well, I hope he's not listening to this because I don't want to remind him of this. Just want to bring this up now before we get to the grid of the race. He is going to be on probation for the next 3 races, serve an EOL tonight and a drive-through at the start of this race tonight, Josh, at Kentucky. After what we saw last week at Chicago, it says it wasn't intentional, and a lot of guys believe him. And it's a very sticky situation because of everything around it, and you can describe this a lot better than I. And obviously nothing came of it, so it's not going to be a big penalty, but of course Alonso's still not happy with the result.
Yeah, and actually, I'm glad you brought up penalties. I kind of forgot about, didn't even think about mentioning them, but there's actually quite a bit of things that are going to happen at the start of this race. So you already mentioned Alonso Chicano, EOL, and the drive-through penalty. Josh Arnold is going to start with an EOL this race. Nathan Fuller is going to be an EOL. Originally, his penalty was an EOL and drive-through. It got rescinded, or amended, whatever you want to call it, to just an EOL. And Dakota Knoll, is he here tonight? I did not see his name. So,
yeah, not yet, I guess.
I don't see Dakota Knoll's name. So if Dakota is here, Dakota will be EOL tonight. If Dakota does not show up, it will be served at his next race that he does show up to. So right now, the ones that are confirmed: Josh Arnold, EOL; Nathan Fuller, EOL; and Alonso Chicano, EOL drive-through. Additionally, there were some incidents that the admins did review. They were between Lindsay Marino and Justin Arand, as well as an incident involving Andrew Elias and Cameron Caldwell, and those were deemed to be racing incidents, so nothing came about those. But the admin team is paying attention to a lot of things, and the admin team actually is a little bit different than it has been at the start of the season. There have been lots of drivers that were wanting more consistency and some changes to the way that things are done. So the admin team, well, not the admin team, but the penalty reviewers that then ultimately decides the penalties, I guess, is different. And that consists of Dawson Allen, which, by the way, in case you were wondering why I'm in the booth tonight, not Dawson. Dawson is actually in Charlotte right now, celebrating, well, I don't know what he's celebrating. I don't know why I said that, but he's there for the actual NASCAR race at the Roval, which is a really cool event. I know this is not his first time being there, but I was very fortunate enough. My mom and I was able to go to the very first Roval event. That was super awesome, and I recommend it to anybody. Dawson's there. I'm low-key jealous, but that's where he's at. So, back to what I was saying. The drivers that, or the guys that decide review penalties: Dawson Allen, Matthew Tolster, and some guy named Josh Copper.
Well, Josh, thanks for ringing through all those penalties there. We got just over 6 minutes left in this practice session, so let's bring in the third member in the booth, Jonathan Poker. Good evening.
Good evening, Adam.
Well, what do you expect to see here at Kentucky Speedway? Of course, in the race last season, we saw a lot of aggressive racing at the front of the field, especially on restarts with the wide front straightaway here. Do you think that's going to carry over to the season?
Yeah, and just the race being in the playoffs, that's going to ramp up even more because there's just so much room with the way that apron is on these restarts and how easy these trucks draft up. You're going to see a lot of close racing like you always do at these mile-and-a-halves. And the way 1 and 2 is, it's a lot different than 3 and 4, so you really got to set up your passes, I think, honestly, in 3 and 4 so you could kind of get your position in 1 and 2.
Yeah, this track is unique. It used to be the same in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like a lot of tracks that we see. Then they wanted to do something unique with the track, and so they made it different at both ends. And I will say, I wasn't so sure about it at first, but I became a fan of it after they ran a race here. And I know they don't go to this track anymore in real life. So that right now it only exists on the sim, but I do miss this track. I think it had a lot of good finishes, a lot of good races, and I do miss it a little bit.
Can't say the same for me.
But I mean, to go on to your point though, John, yeah, it is going to be tough for these drivers to set up the different corners. It won't be as tough as a track like Pocono where you have 3 different corners that are extremely different from each other, but it will be different. You know how you drive 1 and 2 from 3 and 4. So I think that's going to be something pretty interesting to look out for tonight.
One thing that's already caught my eye, of course, watching most of this practice session, has been Brian Haynes' speed in that 86 truck. Good to see him second in the leaderboard right now for that 86, and it's he had a rough go. I think it was last week at Chicagoland, or maybe a couple weeks ago. He doesn't make a lot of starts, but he was caught up in an incident none of his doing and just wiped out. And he's just had a good run going, trying to be quiet. Was in the mix a little bit until that crash happened in front of him. So trying to be in the mix again tonight and hopefully have a little bit better result.
I think if Brian Haynes ran more races, he would definitely be a lot better than what the stats show on just a few races that he does run. Brian Haynes is a very busy man, running Martin PC. He also has a family. So it's not as easy for him to race every week as it is for others. And he is such a good racer. This man is very fast. Actually won a truck race on Jason TV. It was the Juggernaut Truck Series last season in Phoenix, the season finale. Dominated that race. He's sitting in pretty good position with practice right now. I'm actually very curious to know how he's going to do tonight. I think he could play spoiler and get a win.
Would be a pretty big upset with an automatic bid. Oh my goodness, for the championship 4 on the line.
Well, I think he needs to go to the infield care center after that, and that being Cameron Caldwell. That was a hard hit. Oh, good. Well, there's another hard hit. That one
he's not done.
Michael Walls.
Pose this question to Jonathan. I was talking with Cameron a little bit earlier today. This has been well aware within the team for the last couple of weeks, but he isn't going to be racing at Dover next week, so he pretty much told me earlier today he thinks tonight's a must-win because of the uncertainty when we go to Atlanta OA in a couple of weeks. What are your opinions on that and knowing he's going to have that mentality tonight?
Well, I mean, you're dealt the hand you're dealt, I guess, and that does change the way you run this race. Obviously, just you're putting yourself in more position to get the win as opposed to getting stage points. So whatever the strategy is to stay out and get stage points, you might do the opposite, get tires, and it's just you just got to manage the race differently. He's got to ramp up his aggression. He can't be as passive as he would be. He's got to go for more ballsy moves, if you will. So expect to see that out of Cameron Caldwell.
And another fun fact, in the entire history of the Independence News Truck Series, Cameron Caldwell, multi-time winner, a former champion, he has never won on a mile and a half. Kentucky and Atlanta, both mile and a halves.
Very interesting stat. I think he has the possibility to break that stat, though, tonight. Like Jonathan mentioned, he's going to be very aggressive, make some ballsy moves. We saw him do that at Pocono in the last opening race of a round in the playoffs this season, and it was a little aggressive sometimes against his teammates, but that's just the moves you have to make in the playoffs late in the race, going for the win. And it might have to be the way he goes tonight, but 8th in this practice session, we're going to have to see what this qualifying is going to shake up for that 12.
And we head to qualifying. Nathan Fuller's sitting there, but he's actually not the first one out on track. It is going to be Brett Bennett. Track temp currently 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds blowing southwest, which is actually directly down the back straightaway. So you're going to get a tailwind going down the back straightaway, headwind coming into the tri-oval. 3 mile per hour. That's what these guys are currently facing with qualifying, and Brett is going to abandon that. So we're going to head to the next guy that's up front, Ethan Moreno.
Yeah, he had a very challenging first round, but was able to make it through. Had a great rebound last week after he and Justin Duran got together racing for the win.
Across the line, it's going to be a 30.740. Jimmy Wright, P2 on the board. And Alonso Chicano takes top spot, a 30.7. Goes to Tristan Maher now, 30.645. Stay here with Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He crosses the line for his second lap. It is not an improvement. Tristan Maher still P1, a 30.645. Cameron Caldwell currently P3 on the board, a 30.698. He is going now down back straightaway. And with that being said, we are having technical difficulties.
How so?
It's a stop motion race on YouTube.
Oh, wow, that's not good. I thought I left those in like 2008, 2009.
Me too.
Those were the days, though, weren't they? We do have a new driver on the top of the board. It's Justin Durand, putting up a 30.599.
All right. And,
Hey, Dakota made it.
you heard there that Dakota made it. So Dakota is here. And I didn't tell these guys we were coming back, so it's my fault. But qualifying is over. Justin Durand will take the pole. So we're going to see if that's any better. Go ahead and take a look at our starting grid, though. Justin Durand, Tristan Maher, Brian Haynes, Brett Bennett, Cameron Caldwell, top 5. Adam?
Andre Chicano starts 6th, Nathan Fuller 7th, David Durand 8th, Ethan Fonseca Moreno 9th, and Jamie Wright qualifies in 10th.
Starting at
Jonathan?
11. Oh, sorry.
bad.
I was jumping the gun. I was excited. Josh Allen starting 11th to his outside Michael Kruger. Very weird to see him back in the pack. He'll have to work hard to get through the field. Matt Steiner starting in 13th. Michael Wall starting in 14th. And then starting in 15th, we got Matthew Stotts. Starting at 16th, we got Dakota Knoll. 17th, Harold Tucker, excuse me. And rounding out the field is Tyler Watermolen.
And that is the starting grid. Let's go ahead and tell the world who our picks to win are, starting with Adam.
I'll go with the guy who's starting a little bit towards the back, like Jonathan just mentioned, Michael Kruger. We talked about beginning the show, won the race last week at Chicagoland, making his way through this last round. He's got a comfortable points cushion tonight. I think he's just going to ride the momentum into tonight here at Kentucky.
I'm going to pick a non-playoff driver. I'm going with Brian Haynes. He's showed a lot of speed in practice. Qualified third. He's been fast whenever I've seen him. I think he can get the job done.
I am going to go with a guy that, I think it's a common theme when Dawson's not here. I choose this guy. But you know what? I'm doing so because it is a thing
Yes.
where no, seriously. I think he can win. I really do. He has had a lot of momentum on his side lately. Mile and a halves have really proven to be his strong suit. I know he has been saying it's the paint scheme. He's not changing anything. I don't believe in that. I do believe in talent. Brett Bennett really doesn't have, but I think with what he has been able to do lately, he has a chance to win. A photo finish, guys. He was so close. Just inches from winning Chicagoland last week. I think it's his time. Brett Bennett, he is my pick to win. And I'm telling you, that 47, you're going to see it at Victory Lane tonight.
Just want to say real quick, the guy none of us picked, pole sitter Justin Durand, 6th pole award on the season in fast lane pole award qualifying, and he continues a streak in the playoffs. He's been pretty much on fire in qualifying last couple of weeks, but Josh, the pace truck's off.
Yeah, Justin Durand just wants my money. But pace truck is in, as you mentioned. We are inside the restart zone. Green flag is waving. We are underway in a stack up in the back. It was Michael Kruger, I think. Checked everybody else up, but Justin Durand, great jump.
Ooh, a little loose there for Cameron Caldwell. Sorry.
And they're going
and just Miles going to jump to his outside, and then on the inside, Ethan found Sacramento from a pretty deep starting spot here.
They are still 3 wide.
Right into Tristan Maher a little bit. Going to get him up the track.
Oh, Tristan is way up the racetrack. Now side by side for second is Cameron Caldwell and Ethan Fonseca-Moreno, both drivers in pink machines tonight. Matt Steiner in the wall towards the back. These two still going at it.
It's difficult for them to really break ahead. It's just letting Justin Durand pull away, kind of run the pace that he wants to.
Ethan's going to slide a little bit there on the bottom. That's the line we've seen pretty much all night. Can't quite compromise the line he wants. Going to continue to try and slide draft that 12 down the front straightaway, but going to lose touch with him. Maybe dive into 2 and 1. No, Cameron's clear.
Now side by side with, excuse me, David Durand.
Yeah, David did a good job getting around Brett Bennett there and clearing him the last couple of laps, and now a good run off of turn 4. Got the momentum past Ethan Fonseca-Moreno, now trying to put a challenge against Cameron Caldwell for the P2 spot. Ethan coming back though on the bottom of turn 1, Jonathan.
Yeah, David Durand doing a good job. making up ground here early. Working the outside very well, particularly. One thing that I do want to point out is right ahead of these leaders is Alonso Chicano. Because he had that drive-through. He's going to have to put together a really good first stage or hope for caution so it doesn't go a lap down.
One thing that could hurt Chicano is Harold Tucker started from the pits. Tucker is quite a ways back from the field as well, but still a good distance ahead of them. As we see, Fonseca Moreno has gotten clear of David Rand, now putting the pressure back on Cameron Caldwell for P2.
Yeah, Ethan doing everything he can to try and get clean air on the front of that Silverado. Trying to do anything he can to get an advantage.
Ooh, some games being played down the back straightaway here. Ethan trying to dive to the inside now in turn 3. So Kim kind of gave him that lane there entering turn 3, but once they got to the center of the corner, shut it off, chopped that, put all that dirty air right on the front of Ethan's Silverado there, of course, and Ethan's going to continue and try and dig here in the center of turn 2 this time.
Moves, especially as the tires get older, are going to be so hard to make because these setups are just so tight. The trucks are just naturally tight. I think Ethan's going to look to the inside here.
Oh, really close, leaning on each other.
Just couldn't quite stay alongside of him there, 1 and 2.
A little bit behind. Michael Kruger up 6 positions from where he started. He gets put pressure on Brett Bennett, trying to break into the top 5. Still single file all throughout the racetrack. Matt Steiner. Back here, Brian Haynes actually started 3rd, all the way down to 11th.
Yeah, I noticed. I think it was that checkup at that initial start that really derailed his race, because as soon as that happened, pretty much, I didn't quite get a good look at his truck and through all that, but a couple laps later, I noticed he was all the way outside of the top 10 already.
Fonseca Moreno looking to the outside of Cameron Caldwell again here. He's been trying that the past couple laps.
He's going to get out there real tight up against the wall.
Just kissed the wall a little bit there, but been able to keep it to the outside here this lap. I think he should be able to get the move done within the next lap or so.
Good run right there through the back straightaway. Going to clear himself into turn 3. Good run there, like you mentioned, because he was trying that bottom lane and couldn't do it lap after lap. So once he finally went to the top there, able to get that position for second. See if he can try and chase down Justin Duran for the time being. And look at David Duran now trying to find a way around that 12 truck.
Ethan did a good job of setting that up in 3 and 4. He got a good run on the exit of one of the corners. Was able to get outside of Cameron Caldwell. And it seems like that's kind of where you want to be a little bit. You'll be able to push the guy off and sticking around the outside.
I'm very curious to know if Ethan is able to get up there with Justin, how hard these two are going to race each other. It's no secret that there's some beef, and these drivers in a position, you know, in the playoffs. I think personally, and this is easier said than done, but personally, I think really got to put things behind you. Focus on the big picture here, whether you're Justin Rand or Ethan Marino.
So much easier said than done. Yeah, I think it's going to be on the top of their minds, unfortunately, if they get close to each other here. Ethan's not really running down that 5 truck at all. Kind of almost stayed the same here between first and second, but you see Cameron not letting ETB get away at all right now, and David Duran just kind of lingering there in the same position as well.
Yeah, so easy to say, you know, just think big picture, and that's what I always try to do when I drive, and try to tell Ethan that whenever, you know, we're in voice chat, think big picture, but sometimes he can actually let emotions get the best of him, so I hope he just he's smart about it if he ends up having to race Justin Duran for this win, which looks like Justin Duran's the guy to beat. So he's going to have to, if he's going to win this race, he's going to have to beat Justin.
They also say a race car driver number 1 wins. And, you know, both these drivers feel like the other raced them dirty last week. But, I mean, this is something that has really proved over since before last week. The intensity, I mean, it just keeps rising.
Yeah, for sure. It's something about this round format that really brings out some weird intensity. It's just, I feel like it's been cranked up for 11, at least for the first round, and not continuing yet today in this race. Things seem to be strung out, but it's just early on.
Currently, 22 laps complete at the line. Justin Duran leads Ethan Marino, Cameron Caldwell, David Duran, Christian Maher. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back for the end of the stage. Don't go anywhere. We're going side by side.
Hey guys, it's Jonathan from JCTV. Here at JCTV, we currently broadcast 3 series. On Tuesdays, you'll catch the Slide Job Racing League featuring drivers such as Dalton Kilroe, Dane Cruz, and Jonathan Parker.
And real quick, we are 3 wide for the race lead. Hawkins, Wygant, Hapiak, they went 4 wide for a moment with a lap car.
On Fridays, you'll see the NAOR series featuring Nick Hapiak, Chris Wright, and Josh Arnold. as that happens, here comes the 5 through the middle right now. He's going to force the issue and take it
4
3
wide! 4 wide!
God.
What a move by Justin Durand to go to the race lead!
On Saturdays, you can find the In the Pit News Truck Series featuring Justin Durand, Zach Probst, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno. To book JCTV for your own league, please visit us at jctvracing.com and contact us for a booking. Remember, race fans, you can always watch racing live or anytime over at JCTV's YouTube channel.
Hey! No!
Every sip gets you closer. It's Justin Timberlake MP3s.
Hey.
Hey to you. A chance to meet Jeff Gordon.
You okay, Justin?
Millions of songs from Amazon MP3 and more. Sign up at PepsiStuff.com.
Right side tire chase filling full of fuel, and you heard the instruction. Right tires only. Right tires only.
Oh, look at Kyle Busch out there.
Yeah, he is all over the track.
I mean, what has gotten into him today?
Oh, that cannot be good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Whoa, look out.
Wait a minute. Is Kyle in reverse?
Yeah, you don't see that every day. Okay, that is bad,
man.
bad driving.
Oh, this is not like Kyle at all.
Are we winning?
I thought you were looking.
M&M's makes race day more fun.
What is Kyle thinking?
No, we missed it.
We are back. And there was a side-by-side battle between Tristan Maher and David Rand. Tristan able to get into 4th position.
Yeah, did a good job hitting the run and just kind of went underneath David. And I don't think David really fought it too hard. Someone who's worked their way up from a pretty deep starting position is Michael Walls. He started 14th. He's up to 6th in that Lowe's Chevrolet, and Lowe's in that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him rest of the season. Of course, no longer in the playoffs, but he is going to, of course, give it his all for these race wins, Jonathan. And he's going to be in the mix tonight, I'm sure of it. Just like you mentioned, climbing his way up through the field, all the way up into 6th position, just trying to better himself in the final playoff standings. Of course, can finish as high as 5th. So currently leading the charge in that regard out of the 3 knocked out. So trying to do one better tonight with a race victory if he can do so.
Yeah, for sure. He's always going to bring the intensity. You know he always does. He'll race like he's a playoff driver. He doesn't care who it is. He's just like Ross Chastain, honestly. He just always gives it 100%, but sometimes it looks a little ugly, but it makes him exciting to watch. You can't lie.
So Justin Rand has led every lap so far in this race. And right now, barring any issues, he's cruising his way to a stage victory to open up the round of 7.
And some good news if you are Alonso Chicano fan, and he will stay on the lead lap, barring some terrible accident, honestly, because he's done a very good job of maintaining that gap to him to Justin Durand. So he did a good job this stage.
Justin Durand coming out 4. He's going to see the, well, not really white flag, but white flag of the stage.
Yeah, mentioning Alonso there, Jonathan, he stayed right around the same interval he's at right now, differential to Justin Duran, so a pretty good quarter here for that 25 truck early on in this race as we see another pass on David Duran. It's going to be Michael Waz up another spot, move him into the top 5.
That's got to be encouraging if you're Alonso Chicano, but obviously down to all that track position, it's going to be tough to make up. It seems to be pretty tough to make moves.
Justin Duran gonna win the stage. Either Fonseca Marino, Cameron Caldwell, Tristan Maher, Michael Walls. There is the caution. David Duran, Nathan Fuller, Brett Bennett, Matthew Stotts, and Michael Kruger. The top 10. Field catching up to the pace car. And pit stops. Gonna happen.
Back to our point about Alonso Chicano and what's going to be his rise to the field. Not only does he lose out on all that track position, guys, he, of course, not finishing top 10 in the stage, 0 stage points. And so for a guy who entered the race tonight, -0 on the outside, not getting any points at all in this first 35 laps is going to could be the difference once we get down to the end of Atlanta 08. So it's just going to be pretty interesting to see what he does here for strategy at the last half of this race, if we get to any situation where he can, just to make up those points.
Everybody except Matt Steiner coming down pit road, and I think Steiner just wanted to stay out to lead a lap. He should pit next time by. If not, then maybe he's trying something else. So everybody should be taking 4 tires and fuel here. Race off pit road. It's going to be Justin, Ethan, Cameron, Tristan, Micah, Nathan, Brett, David, and Mike.
Something about that first stage is Michael Kruger didn't move through the field quite like I thought he would. I thought he would be kind of, at least with Michael Walls there, honestly moving through the field. But where did he finish? You said he finished 10th this stage?
Yeah, he did. Actually, I believe he was 9th. He lapped before and lost position on the final lap there up the stage. He was up to 6th and kind of fell back.
Yeah, I was going to bring up, I saw him climb through the field really early on, like the first 10 or 15 laps he was in 7th or 8th that I noticed. Maybe he did get up to 6th, according to the data that Josh has. I believe that more than me. And he, like Josh mentioned, he just started losing a couple spots there at the end of the stage. I noticed Matthew Stotts got around him there on that last lap, like you mentioned, Josh. So very intriguing what this long run pace is going to have for the 14 truck rest of the night.
And drivers, it is choose time. Justin Duran, Ethan Fonseca Marino, Cameron Caldwell, I'll take the bottom. Tristan Maher, that was wide open to take the top.
Said, thank you very much, I'll take that.
Him and Micah Walls take the top. Nathan Fuller also could be on the top. And mix up the first 3 rows. Brett Bennett, Michael Kruger make up row 4. Row 5, David Duran, and Matthew Stotts. There's 97 laps to go in this race. Only caution so far. This is for the end of the stage. Pace truck is in. Leader Justin Duran inside the restart zone. He's going to go. Little bobble there by Tristan Maher.
And a big checkup for Nathan Fuller. A couple trucks behind him, so outside lane not going at all. Going into turn 1 here. Way back, Alonso Chicano's going to jump to the 3rd lane, try and pick up a few spots. Mentioned him, of course, during that caution. There he is, racing Brian Haynes going into turn 3.
Up front, Tristan Maher, Ethan Marino, they are side by side for P2. Marino trying to put pressure on Justin Duran as well. Tristan Maher gonna get clear of Ethan Marino.
Yeah, got a really good run on the outside. He's going to make a run for the lead here.
Yeah, Justin was slipping there off of turn 4 big time. He was sliding all the way through the exit of that corner, and I thought that was just the line he wanted, but obviously it kind of upset his truck down the front straightaway because you mentioned that run Tristan was able to build there, and he's carrying into turn 2 now. See what he has down the back straightaway here with Ethan Marino tucked up behind him.
And I have to imagine if Ethan is going to be pushing anybody down a straightaway to help with draft, it's going to be Tristan Maher. These two still side by side for the race lead. No one is giving an inch. Justin, I think, getting a little tight there, sliding up the racetrack. This might help Tristan just a little bit with runoff. They are still neck and neck. Justin gonna drive it in hard into 3. He's now getting tight, driving up the racetrack. Of course, that sends Tristan up there as well. But still, neither driver able to get an advantage.
I can express how hard it is to drive it into turn 3 side by side like this. It looks pretty simple, but it's actually one of the toughest corners to go in side by side and really not make any contact or get out of shape. So these guys have put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, this is phenomenal to watch. It's awesome to see these guys just give it their all here. 2 teammates racing for the lead for a playoff berth into the Final Four, and it's really aggressive, of course. And Tristan, another good run off the exit of the corner, but Justin's still going to be there by the time we get back to turn 1.
Riding on board, this is what Ethan Marino sees.
Justin again slipping on the bottom there in turn 4, going to make Tristan clear her. Big surprise there after all those laps side by side. Tristan Maher clear for the lead here.
So my question is, being side by side all those laps, has that hurt the tires on Maher and Duran's trucks?
For sure. I feel like it would hurt Justin Duran's more because you're limited on so much on what you can do, and the arrow's a little bit worse when you're on the bottom there. So without even trying, you're just kind of burning a little bit more right front than you want to. That's why in that situation, it's so hard to just kind of give in for a little bit. But sometimes it's a little bit smarter to just give in and let them have the lead for a little bit.
While we're watching this, I'm not quite sure if anything happened or it was just a coincidence, but both David Duran and Brett Bennett fell a couple of spots just outside of the top 5 to now barely inside the top 10. Brett dropped from battling with Michael Wallace to now the 11th position as Alonso Chicano actually gets around him.
And they are side by side for that 10th position. You know, Chicano, he's racing a little bit more aggression with a little bit more aggression tonight. Knowing he needs those points, and obviously not happy with the penalty. Right now, he's side by side with Brian Hayes.
3 wide action. Yeah, Alonso did make a great move there. That was almost sketchy, but it worked out. Gets clear of Brett Bennett there. He's a man on a mission today.
Michael Walls, back bumper of Cameron Caldwell. He looks slow. And here comes Nathan Fuller. Walls actually.
Whoa!
Wow. And Kruger is going to hit the wall off 4.
You see Mikey? Sorry, you go at him.
This is just a theory, but it looked like Kruger was just racing off those guys in front of him and missed the corner completely.
A few times I've looked up and seen that 14 truck. He doesn't really seem to be in sync with his truck right now. He's been making some weird mistakes I don't usually see him make. You know, getting into the wall a little bit or just lining right front a little bit too much. I just think he needs to take a deep breath. I know he had that 16-point gap, but that can go away in an instant when you only get 1 stage point. So he's just gotta regroup and get back to racing how we know he can.
Nathan Fuller, a man on a mission. Fuller driving that truck pretty hard. Currently P5, just behind Cameron Caldwell.
Yeah, you mentioned up into P5. First time he's been there tonight since that last restart where we started up there towards there in the, I believe in maybe the 4th position and just got checked up a little bit on that restart. Dropped a bunch of spots and now he's trying to make his way back as we just saw him get around Michael Wallace and like you mentioned, Josh, on the back decklet almost of Cameron Caldwell going to turn 3 this time by, but going to continue to run that higher line here and be about 2 or 3 lanes up from that 12 in the center of the corner, get some momentum here off of turn 4 and try and side draft him down the front straight away.
Side by side with Caldwell, but he is there. He's now gonna try to make it happen on the outside, coming off turn 4. Fuller trying to stick right there, but it is tough.
Michael Wall's now all over the decklet or the tailgate of Nathan Fuller down the front straightaway. He's brought back into this battle.
Nathan Fuller went from being on the offense when the move failed. Now he's on the defensive, trying to hold off Michael Walls here. Pretty tough to do.
Yeah, you see how much Cameron's driving away from them right now, and Micah trying to dive to the inside in turn 3. Good position here off of turn 4, trying to get that position on the front straightaway, but Nathan continues to use that higher lane to get that momentum off of turn 4.
Duran looking for the lead again here.
To the inside. Tristan gonna try to fight back. Tristan, wow, very close to the wall.
Almost exceeded the limit there.
Yeah, both of them lost the nose a little bit there in 3 and 4. They both drifted up the track, but Tristan drifted up more, obviously.
That was Kyle Larson line. Any closer, he would have been in the Ross Chastain line. If you don't know what I mean, that's in the wall.
Justin got a little bit twitchy there on the bottom of turn 4. Justin clear for the time being, but I think Justin's going to send it back here into the inside of turn 1. Couldn't quite get to the bottom.
And look just behind. It is
Go ahead.
It is Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He's saying, well, hello there. He wants a piece of this.
Justin missed the bottom in turn 1 this lap, I should say, and really wheeled Ethan into this battle completely, and Cameron Caldwell now on the defensive and trying to get on the offensive here at the same time.
It amazes me you can take drivers so talented, put them on a track, have their tires 23 laps old, and you still have the top 6 under a blanket.
Definitely a contrast to what we saw in that first stage, and it's just really all grouped together, not just with these guys, but almost the whole field is strung a lot more together than what we saw early on. And these top 6, like you mentioned, Josh, all right here within almost a second of each other.
I know if this were last season, they'd be all grouped together for 2nd and 7th, because there would have been man way out front in a different zip code. His name, of course, Jonathan Parker. But
don't. I'd be right in this tag. Don't do that.
Jonathan Parker, of course, the reigning champion in the series.
A little update, a little bit further in the pack. Alonso Chicano
Caution is
and
out!
a caution.
Matthew Stotts.
Wow, that truck is wrecked.
Brett
Bennett's involved.
Brett Bennett. And I think possibly Harold Tucker.
Oh my god, that was a vicious crash.
Well, as we take the look at the JCTV replay, all started going into turn 3, Josh, and a little bit of an overcorrection and a big impact for both drivers. And then I assume just out of frame there was that 3rd impact with Harold Tucker.
Yeah, Brett Bennett made a pretty big error there, getting into the back of Matthew Stotts there, right at the pretty vulnerable part of the corner, and he just couldn't save it. And Brett Bennett wasn't in a position where he kind of looking for a win. Now he really needs a win.
Ooh, Harold Tucker wasn't even.
Yeah, that was
registering.
netcode. That's a shame for Harold Tucker.
Harold Tucker has been appearing in and out of the pit lane. I don't know what's going on at all at night, so he's had connection issues all race.
Yeah, even in practice he was having connection issues, trying to get that fixed. So it's a shame because he wasn't even close to being in that wreck, and now he's got a destroyed racetrack.
Probably couldn't even see it happening as we see the pit stops, Josh.
Drivers on pit road. Tristan Maher.
Ooh.
Did Ethan get Justin? He did. Tristan Maher, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Justin Duran, Cameron Caldwell, and Nathan Fuller will be the top 5. Look at this. I mean,
destroyed track. That's because you picked them.
Honestly, it really is a huge shame because it's just been the theme of Brett Bennett just to barely scrape by each elimination round this season. Barely got in the playoffs, barely got in this round after a wreck in the first race at Pocono, and here he is again in a wreck in the first race. This time Kentucky, of course, so a big one tonight, so he's going to have a long way to recover entering this race. like we mentioned, top of the show, well off of everyone else. Still not that far in terms of grand scheme of things, but in terms of the rate everyone else is gaining points, 13 back with a very tight margin for everyone else, and now only gained 3 points tonight in the stage, and going to probably be done with the last place finish here.
Yeah, if I am him, if I'm sitting in that truck right now, you thinking you got to win at Dover or the real Atlanta, because these guys are always up front. There's a reason why they're in the playoffs. They're always up front battling for the win. It's going to be almost impossible to gain all those points on all those people. So he's got to be thinking win to advance. At least it gets your strategy straight pretty quickly here, huh?
And one thing that Josh mentioned top of the show also is that this was an opportunity race for Brett because he's strong at the mile and a half, but fortunately for him, like you mentioned, Atlanta in 2 weeks also another mile and a half, but Dover next week, he has been stronger in the past, so I think next week he's going to be very optimistic going in.
Tristan Maher takes the bottom. Ethan Fonseca Moreno takes the bottom. Justin Rand took the top as well as Cameron Caldwell. Nathan Fuller bottom. Alonzo Chicano could take the top of row 3. Pace truck is in the field in the hands of Tristan Maher with 70 laps to go when we go back green. Green flag is back out. And a good jump out of Tristan Maher.
Great job. Not even really going to have to worry about much. Justin Duran was able to clear for second there. Not that great of a launch, but Ethan really did not get going on that inside.
And now Justin going to look to the bottom of Tristan. Ethan Fonseca Moreno underneath Cameron Caldwell. Tristan washes way up the racetrack.
Cameron Caldwell trying to clear Ethan Fonseca Moreno for third. Going to do that. Now he's on the outside of Justin Duran for a side-by-side battle for second, going to turn 1 momentarily.
Oh, Tristan Maher!
Big crash!
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness! It's a parking lot on the back straightaway. Kruger's involved in it.
Saw Alonzo Chicano with a bunch of damage. There was Cameron Caldwell, of course. David Durant also involved. From the lead, holy. Just a little bit loose.
Fuller, Chicano, David.
Chicano almost got through it. And they got clipped right there. Wow.
Dakota Knoll. Brian Haynes may have just gotten a tiny piece of it. Jamie Wright got through. Steiner got through. Matthew Stotts got through.
Well, this was best case scenario for Brett Bennett, honestly.
I was about to say,
if he can get that truck repaired, if he can get that truck somehow repaired, he can make laps up on these guys. It's a tall task, but it is possible now.
Got some of the leaders coming down pit road.
Oh, Alonzo almost missed the cone there, back there.
That's kind of the one. That's the one way Brett Bennett's not going to be in a must-win is if everyone else wrecks. So, and he can go out there and maybe get some points. But I didn't expect to see that,
guys. I think there's a little bit of irony here out of 2 of the drivers that made it through that. They are now first.
What a
second.
top 5.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I did not have this on my bingo card for tonight.
Whew. I don't even know what to think right now.
We're not even halfway yet. Once these guys cross the line, right now, this time, we're going to be halfway. And out of 17 trucks that started this race, I think about 3 or 4 of them do not have damage.
That's pretty remarkable. Yeah, well, that's like a plate race when a wreck happens right there in the front on a restart. Everyone's going to be involved in it.
Such a violent wreck, the way that Tristan just overcorrected immediately, and Cameron was right there, so it just shot him like with so much momentum again. It was just a gruesome looking crash.
Speaking of, Cameron Caldwell, all the other playoff guys are going to have 2 more chances at it, and he's only, at least what he's told us, he's only going to have 1 more shot at this now to get his truck into the playoffs, into the Final Four.
Right on board with Tristan Locker.
That was a great angle. You could see him slide, Jonathan, just before he actually lost it there.
Yeah, I bet you he feels embarrassed, but I've done worse, Tristan. Don't worry. I promise you. You keep your head up.
Tristan,
fine.
It wasn't lap 1, turn 1 at a short track.
I love that short track, too. I'd love if we went there more.
Tristan is an incredible driver. And,
oh, man, he's a crazy talent.
This is just another example that every driver makes mistakes.
For sure. I mean, I don't care if you're a Coke Series driver. You have done something embarrassing like that before. I mean, they race so many dang races. They're bound to at some point, to whether they're wrecking from the lead on the last lap or something. I've seen it all. So don't. It just goes to show how tough these things are to drive. How close to the edge you have to be in order to make speed. And he's just trying to keep his advantage because that clean air is just so important. And just slightly over the line, and it just has big consequences.
So lights on the pace truck are off. David Aran takes the the inside. You put Seika Moreno on the inside. Brian Haynes inside. Jamie Wright outside. Michael Walls outside. Matt Steiner inside. That's the first 3 rows. Alonzo Chicano, David Rand. Cameron Caldwell, Dakota Knoll. Top 10. Matthew Stotts, slowly but surely, is out on track, trying to catch up to the field. And if it stays like this, we're only going to have 11 trucks out on the track for the time being. Pace truck is in. And inside the restart zone, Justin Rand. He gets going. 64 laps to go here from Kentucky.
Ethan Van Secamarena quick to jump to that bottom. Only 3 trucks took that outside lane on that choose last time by, so good start there for ETB. Going to put him into second ahead of Brian Haynes there. He's going to try and look for that position of 2 and 3, Josh.
Yeah, here comes Brian Haynes, but he's going to have to tuck back up in the line. Ethan Van Secamarena, a big run off the 4. Rivals side by side for the race lead.
Coming up the track a little, but he's still able to keep it side by side. Down into turn 3.
Justin Rand drifting up the track just a little bit. Ethan Van Secamarena doing a great job. Moreno gonna lead that lap.
Important for him to lead that lap. Only 3 playoff drivers have led laps tonight, so good for him to get a bonus point tonight. He's going to continue to use that high lane and clear Justin Duran off of turn 4 this time.
Ethan Fonseca Moreno looking to punch his ticket to the next round. Justin Duran not wanting to let him get away. I also want to mention how funny or ironic I think it is as well that Ethan Fonseca Moreno, who is a driver for my team, PBR, representing KBRN on his truck, and Justin Rand, who is not on my team, who's on Cameron Caldwell's team, representing JCTV. Kenneth Bueno, I have not talked to him in several years, but he actually used to commentate Galaxy Cup Series races with another team on 3-wide TV, I think. And yeah, Bueno, cool guy, and apparently team owner of Ethan in another league, from what I understand.
I'm pretty sure that's right, yeah. Michael Wall's looking for third, the inside of Brian Haynes.
Yeah, I was just about to bring this up. You mentioned Michael's rise throughout the field the entire race, and after that incident, able to get through it. Now he's in contention for a solid top 5. You mentioned trying to get to the inside to third there. Brian Haynes had to slot back into line almost a moment there through 1 and 2 as he is tucked in between Haynes and Jamie Wright, trying to think of something here going into turn 3. He's going to make the move.
Oh, drifting up the track. Maybe a little bit of contact there between Walls and Haynes. But Haynes going to prevail. He's going to hold on to P3.
Mentioned only 11 trucks took the green flag for this restart. Cameron Caldwell obviously did not get all of the damage fixed on his number 12 Silverado, because he is 8 seconds off pace of the next truck to him, who is also about half the distance to the next truck off of him. So it's quite a huge gap for these 2 or 3 trucks at the back of the field here. Bunch of damage there, of course, you see on that 12 machine, and he's going to be in for a long night because these guys are going to catch him pretty quickly here.
As frustrating as it is to ride around in a position like what Caldwell has, he knows there could be 2 different things. Either A, drivers like Arnold, Fuller, Maher, Kruger, Tucker, and Bennett, they can get out, pass him, gain more points. Or B, issues can happen with drivers that are in the top 10 right now, and Caldwell can pass them, gain more points themselves. So right now, Cameron Caldwell, as frustrating as it is to be riding around well more than half a track behind currently, it's needed. Anything can happen, and we see here Michael Walls and Brian Haynes racing really hard.
That is his spotter said clear. He didn't hesitate to take it. That's crazy.
These 2 drivers, not in the playoffs, but if something happened between them, 2 more points for Caldwell.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's true. You can't just stop if you're Cameron Caldwell, even though that truck is absolutely demolished. Because, I mean, anyone could just go out there and pick up some points, like you said, that's behind him, or anything could happen to one of these guys out here that's still driving. So you just can't quit. And plus, you hate DNS anyway. At least I personally do. I can never stand DNFing.
Just behind them, David Duran getting the 5th position from Jamie Wright. Jamie got a little bit too high off that 4th corner, and David was able to make a quick work around him. But moment just ahead of him, Brian Haynes, I think he caught the apron there in the center of 1 and 2. I had a good save down the back straightaway, though.
Justin Duran not allowing Ethan Signorino to really go anywhere. These two still nose and tail. Justin Duran an earlier entry into the corner for Reed and Ethan. But Ethan having a better run off. Ethan with Signorino.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, my bad. I just wanted to say he's definitely not letting him get away. We saw Justin dominant Chuck in that first stage. Was able to drive away here in that second stage a little bit, racing with Tristan. So I think he's just trying to take his time right now and save his tire.
Ethan with Signorino, Justin Duran, Michael Walls, Brian Haynes, and David Duran make up the top 5. We're going to step away. Don't go anywhere because we're going JCTV non-stop.
Hey guys, it's Jonathan from JCTV. Here at JCTV, we currently broadcast 3 series. On Tuesdays, you'll catch the Slide Job Racing League featuring drivers such as Dalton Kilroe, Dane Cruz, and Jonathan Parker.
And real quick, we are 3 wide for the race lead. Hawkins, Wygant, Hapiak, they went 4 wide for a moment with a lap car.
On Fridays, you'll see the NAOR series featuring Nick Hapiak, Chris Wright, and Josh Arnold. As that happens, here comes the 5 through the middle right now. He's going to force the issue and take it
4
3
wide! 4 wide!
God.
What a move by Justin Duran to go to the race lead!
On Saturdays, you can find the In the Pit News Truck Series featuring Justin Duran, Zach Probst, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno. To book JCTV for your own league, please visit us at jctvracing.com and contact us for your booking. Remember, race fans, you can always watch racing live or anytime over at JCTV's YouTube channel.
Hey! No!
Every sip gets you closer. It's Justin Timberlake MP3s.
Hey.
Hey to you. A chance to meet Jeff Gordon.
You okay, Justin?
Millions of songs from Amazon MP3 and more. Sign up at PepsiStuff.com.
Right side tire, Jay's full of fuel, and you heard the instruction. Right tires only. Right tires only.
Oh, look at Kyle Busch out there.
Yeah, he is all over the track.
I mean, what has gotten into him today?
Oh, that cannot be good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Whoa, look out.
Wait a minute. Is Kyle in reverse?
Yeah, you don't see that every day. Okay, that is bad
man.
driving.
Oh, this is not like Kyle at all.
Are we winning?
I thought you were looking.
M&M's makes race day more fun.
What is Kyle thinking?
Back here in Sparta, Kentucky. We play some sim racing in the Pits News Truck Series. Round of 7 opener. The Guardian Kentucky 200. Ethan Fonseca Moreno continues to lead Justin Rand. Michael Walls kind of coming into the picture a little bit.
Yeah, last caution he did pit for a splash of gas. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make for him strategy-wise. It puts him in any type of window, but it's just a little something to note.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see him keep up with these two. Obviously, Justin truck of the field, like I mentioned before break, and Ethan, we talked early on about how he could be one of those guys who could contend Justin for the win, and he's been in the top 5 almost all race long, probably, and just a little bit quicker than Justin, obviously in the clean air, and able to just right now just ride and hope Justin keeps falling back a little bit as he is, just little by little, but Michael Wall is hanging right there.
Justin Durand coming down pit road. So is Michael Walls.
Oh!
Michael Walls almost running the back of Justin Durand. Did a great job to slow down and not affect Justin Durand at all. Imagine how livid Justin Durand would have been if Michael would have plowed in the back of him.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Ethan Fonseca Moreno going to stay out. Justin Rand, Michael Walls, exiting pit road. Alonso Chicano also entered with them, going to exit. David Duran, Brian Haynes, second and third. Steiner and Jamie Wright side by side. Jamie Wright looking like he's going to come down pit road.
I'm very curious to see how long some of these guys are going to stretch it. It seems like this is pretty much on the early end of green flag pit stops. You see Matthew Stotts in 6th place also coming in here. So Ethan Fonseca Moreno, of course, the race leader, still yet to pit, trying to keep these guys trapped a lap down for the time being, it appears. And just maybe running his own fuel strategy as he is now on the low line, continue to stay out.
Like Matt Steiner to come in pit road. Ethan Patsing-Moreno still staying out here. Top 4 rather, all have yet to come down pit road. Go to Knoll. Several seconds off the pace though. I think.
Sorry, Josh, but while we continue watching this, I've caught with one of our playoff contenders out of the race. Michael Kruger, 15th on the boards right now. You were involved in that big incident on the back straightaway with Tristan Maher. What do you see from your point of view tonight?
I mean, I just saw, or at least from what I saw when I was mid-pack, I was I was 3 wide on the front stretch, and I was about to almost get clear on the bottom, and then I look, I go into the corner, I look, and off to I see Tristan get loose, and then he collects Cam, and I try to go low to miss, and I kind of slow down a bit, and I get kind of run over from behind and just put into the wall, and it killed the motor. So I'm pretty much sitting right now on pit road with a blown motor and probably my championship hopes maybe possibly in serious doubt, if not dashed away right now.
Well, you had a little bit of a point advantage coming in this race, probably not enough for a crash like you mentioned, as we see some of these guys come on pit road right now, Josh. But Michael, you had, like you mentioned, you were racing mid-pack for most of the race. What more did you need from that truck tonight? Was it just understeer, or was it just fighting the grip on that racetrack tonight?
Qualifying, track position. The driver waited to the last minute to qualify, and he put down a lap that I thought was pretty decent, that he was going to run close to before qualifying, and put down a lousy, pathetic lap that put himself basically behind the wall and behind a bunch of people that were, there's some guys I'm not going to name that are just in the way and just roadblocks and just raced like and really hurt my chance to get in stage points. And with this incident, I wouldn't be shocked at all if I'm below the cutoff. And yeah, just kind of mad at myself, and then just getting caught up in that wreck really was the icing on the cake for it.
All right, thanks, Michael, for your time. Good luck next week at Dover. Hopefully you can turn things around.
Thanks. That's the goal.
That was our regular season champion, Michael Kruger, of course, involved in the big incident on the back straightaway quite a few laps ago at this point. But Josh, we have battle for what will be the race lead on the racetrack now after that round of pit stops. Justin Duran and Michael Walls, 2.5 behind the damaged truck of Dakota Knoll.
Yeah, Dakota Knoll actually coming down pit
Who's
road.
kidding?
Yep.
So this is a battle for the race lead now. And Michael Walls, I think, being a little patient here with Justin Duran. And now that now that pitting is complete, I want to try something.
Okay. Don't try.
Don't worry, Parker.
Okay.
So, looked like Walls was going to make a move there on Justin, and I don't want to try what I'm going to try if there's going to be a big battle for this thing here. But basically, with the way that the stream has been, I had an idea, and I wish I would have had this idea earlier. So, please bear with me as you just see a logo on your screen right now.
Real quick while we wait for this, Jonathan, great to hear from Michael Kruger real quick and hear his perspective. And one thing you brought up right away when we looked at the grid was about how deep he was starting in the field, and that's what he brought up about what ruined his race tonight, unfortunately. And I agree a little bit. We've talked about, you and I have talked about a lot about how important track position has been tonight, and he just didn't have any of it.
Yeah, and I think he's he's obviously hard on himself, and that's why he's so good. But I think he's being a little too hard on himself. He'll have better days, that's for sure, and he's gonna have to have two really good days in the next couple of weeks to advance in this playoffs. But if there's anyone in this field that's capable of doing it, he is. He ran great last season, and he should still be able to fight for this championship. I don't think his championship hopes are dashed like you said they are. I thought that was a little hyperbole.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so hoping that fixes things. If not, I apologize. Yeah, I've done literally 2 other streams this week with no issues, and I've had no updates, no changes, no nothing, and here we are with this. Now, one thing I do want to point out, guys, Ethan Marino, he's cutting that gap quick.
Bitter day, I would say, like, 8 to 10 laps later, just trying to get a tire offset because Justin Duran and Michael Walls got the jump. So if he would have pit a lap later, he figured, I'm probably come out behind them. So let me try and give myself a little bit of advantage, turn a negative into a positive, and he's doing a really good job of that. Just cutting a bunch of tenths and tenths a lap into that lead. He'll be there before you even know it.
And meanwhile, if these guys continue to battle, well, really haven't been battling too much side by side, but if these guys do get side by side, it's just going to slow them down and help Ethan catch them even quicker.
Yeah, that's I think the worst thing they can do right now is get side by side. It'll just speed up the process of him getting there, and they got to try and stay ahead by the time the tires equalize. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the gap's it's getting too small now.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up the tires equalizing and offsetting. 20 laps to go. It's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen by the time he gets there. I think it can happen by the time he passes them. But that's going to be a tall task, of course, with the Dirty Air challenges here at Kentucky Speedway, the high speeds that are running around this place, and just how close Michael Walls is running lap after lap to Justin Durand and not really being able to do anything, whether that's just him right now waiting or just lack of ability right now to do anything on that 5 truck.
There's one person that can make you burn your tires off, though, and wow, you really hard, it would be Michael Walls. It's certainly not over yet.
And doing what I did not fix anything. But we're still going to bring you this race as best we can. And that gap now under 2 seconds. Ethan is cooking.
Michael looks really strong right now, too, on the exit of some of these corners.
Yeah, he's just having a tough time translating that into a move. Might prove me wrong here, but he is definitely really strong at the exit of these corners.
Ethan, I think, is also doing a better job holding it down on the bottom longer than what Justin is. Well, I say that, and of course, there through 3 and 4, Ethan off the bottom sooner than Justin is. That's how it goes. But give it another lap, and things are going to be much different. 15 laps to go here. Guardian, Kentucky 200. Anyway, the gap is just over half a second between race leader and Ethan Fonseca-Moreno, who is running in third.
This is about the furthest Micah has been from the 5 check as well in quite a few laps, so I wonder if the Didier is going to play any disfavors for that 43 here because of this. Doesn't look like it.
And Ethan needs to make quick work of Micah too. And Micah is not going to let it happen.
Challenge.
I told you that.
Both got good runs down the front straightaway as well.
Micah gets a little too high there, and that's going to allow Ethan Fonseca-Moreno to clear Michael Walls.
I was really expecting Micah to try the crossover there. He wasn't quite close enough, but I've seen him try it before, even not having quite enough position, and he's going to continue to wash up the racetrack there in turn 4. I think he barely just missed the outside wall there, but going far to third as Ethan is within 0.2 of a second on Justin Duran for this lead.
Ethan looking to the inside. Justin gonna block all the way down on that apron.
Aggressive block.
Ethan looking to the outside now. Gonna tuck back in the line underneath Justin. They are gonna be side by side down back straightaway and into 3. Justin pinching Ethan down.
A little bit of contact.
Yeah, these guys are going to give each other no space here in the last 10 laps. Championship 4 position is on the line.
Justin Duran still pinching Ethan down. He washes up just a little bit. Ethan not able to pull out and clear Justin, but entering 3. Ethan's able to. New race leader, Ethan Fonseca-Moreno, out front. Coming to 9 laps to go at Kentucky Speedway for a chance to punch his ticket into the final round. Justin Duran fighting back on that outside line, though. He does not want to see this happen. He wants to punch his ticket as well. But I'm sure, even more so, he doesn't want to see Ethan win this race. Eight to go. Fonseca-Moreno extending the gap between himself and Justin Duran. He is just hoping that nothing crazy happens and a caution does not come out. Really, nobody even close to each other either. closest cars on track are these three right here.
Mentioned Kim Caldwell a lot earlier with his damaged truck. He came in to pit for fuel and service, and he just decided not to continue. No positions he was going to gain. No one's going to go out there and pass him, really, so he decided to call it a night here early.
And it's good they did those laps because Josh Arnold is back out on racetrack, actually. I feel like he's another one of those guys who doesn't really like DNFs. I don't blame him for being out there. Just log laps. I don't like DNFs either, so give a shout out to Josh Arnold out there toughing it. Even though he got caught up in that wreck, he's toughing it out.
He's in a little bit of a points battle himself. His closest competition isn't here tonight, but still trying to gain the biggest cushion possible for Best of the Rest challenge, and also not quite sure who was eligible, but we have the Dash for Cash active in these playoff races, so that is one thing to keep in mind also for these non-playoff drivers.
Yeah, and he does need to get that gap back up because he did miss the race at Bristol, and I know how much he likes Bristol, so it's a shame that he couldn't show up there, but I guess he's making up for some lost points.
Yeah, and actually, the reason that he wasn't at Bristol is because he was going to a wedding. You guys are familiar with the DI9 Designs Anywhere series we broadcast on Friday nights. Currently on their off-season, driver Zachary Meredith got married to longtime girlfriend and fiance. Congratulations to Zachary Meredith on his marriage a couple weeks ago. 2 laps to go. Michael Walls is catching Justin Arand, trying to battle for that second position.
Yeah, Justin drove away from him for a little bit there, but Micah has really reeled in that 5 truck, but I think it might be too little too late. It might have to be a last lap push here to get second away and steal a spot away from a playoff contender.
Meanwhile, that white flag is in the air. It is waving. Barney, the flag man, showing that flag. Ethan Von Sigmarino. He is going through 1 and 2 for the final time. Michael Walls not close enough to make a move on Justin Arand. We go back up front off turn 4. His ticket is punched to Auto Club. Ethan Fonseca Marino, your winner at Kentucky. Justin Arand finishes second. Michael Walls third. David Arand fourth. Brian Haynes fifth. Dakota Knoll gonna get ninth. Juanzo Chicano rebounding as best as he could. Takes home 6th place. And burning it down, your race winner, driver the number 43, Ethan Fonseca Moreno.
What a drive. Very, very impressive with all the strategy there at the end, and just, we talked about it, like the inability to pass, and he was up there all race long trying to make things happen. Drove up through the top 5 a little bit early on and was just always in contention, and a little bit lucky missing that big crash, of course, but that's what you have to be in the name of the game at sometimes.
This winning moment brought to you by Martin PC. Brian Haynes was in the race. We'll go with Martin PC. If you're in the need for a custom built PC, go to martinpc.com. Might have helped me tonight with some of the issues. Of course, I don't have a Martin PC, but most of the time what you see on Saturday nights is powered by a Martin PC with Dawson Allen producing most of these races. Take a look at our results. And finishing in first is Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Second is Justin Rand. Third, Micah Walls. Fourth, David Rand. And fifth, Brian Haynes.
So you mentioned Alonso Chicano rebounds to a 6th place finish, Jamie Wright 7th, Matt Steiner 8th, Dakota No 9th, and Cam Caldwell finishes 25 laps down off the track in 10th place.
And Matthew Stotts finished 11th. End up disconnecting at the end. Here at the end of the stretch, the rest of these guys were involved in a bunch of wrecks. Josh Arnold there ended up finishing the race, but heavily damaged truck. Nathan Fuller in 13th, Michael Kruger and 14th, Tristan Maher in 15th there. Harold Tucker in 16th, Brett Bennett running out your field in 17th, and Tyler Watermole, I guess just wanted to be included today. Honestly, didn't realize he had even registered for the session, but there you go. Get a little shout out, Tyler Watermole.
So with that being said,
Well, Josh, before we interview our podium finishers, actually, I want to catch up with our last place finisher, Brett Bennett.
what could go wrong?
Hey, Brett, it's Adam. I'm up in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, could have been a better night.
Well,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, you had a pretty decent run started off, Brett, but yet again, same song, different verse here in the second round of the playoffs. You're out of the race early. What is your mindset of that incident, first of all?
I mean, it's my fault. I got in the corner. He had driven it in so deep to get around me in 1 and 2. I thought he was going to keep driving in deep the next corner, and he drove it in a lot shallower than I thought he was. He lifted earlier. I thought I lifted pretty early, but I just barely bumped in the back bumper, and then twice in this race we had big wrecks caused by people. I don't think it was intentional. And somebody thought it was intentional, but I don't think Matthew's trying to take me out there. I think he just tried to correct back up the track, and both I think Tristan and Matthew did, where they just turned the wheel way too far right and basically caused a big wreck by doing that. You can't turn the wheel super far right, and I've done it too. It happens on iRacing. End of the day, that's not the issue. This track's the issue. It's a terrible track. We should never race here again. The racing's bad. People don't show up because a lot of people don't own it. Even people who were running well in this race I was talking to were saying they were not having a good time. At least some people. It feels like you're just not racing people here. It's just all about just whether you get a good run off of turn 3 and 4, and that determines your entire lap. Even Texas is similar to here, but Texas I enjoy a lot more. If we were going to come here again, it needs to be the legacy version, because it's just not a good track. There's a reason it's an Amazon warehouse, basically an Amazon parking lot now.
Well, thanks for your opinion of the racing surface. We have talked about that a lot tonight, pretty much, about the way the track raced up here in the booth. But as for the situation going forward into Dover, a strong track for you historically, and of course the unknown of Atlanta 08, but of course in a little bit of a deficit here in the points going forward.
I feel pretty confident in both those tracks. I kind of got lucky that a lot of other playoff drivers got involved when Maher had his when Maher got loose in front of the field. I know Mikey, Maher, and Caldwell were all caught up in that, so that really hurt their finishes at the end of the day. And then that's one other driver. Oh no, there's 7 drivers left, not 8. So then those 3 getting in trouble helps me a lot. Still able to source on the stage points, and then hopefully go to 2 tracks I'm good at. I mean, I've been in this position all season. I've been about 13 points below the cut line after almost every single race, it seems like. So we'll just keep doing what we've done, and hopefully try to optimize points at Dover, and then go to Atlanta '08, and hopefully continue my work on mile and a half. Continue the good runs on mile and a half that have evenly banked corners. Because I guess that's the key, is it having evenly banked corners. I think I finished top 3 in every single one of those this season.
All right, well, we'll see if that continues. Good luck at Dover next week. Thanks for your time, Brett, and sorry you didn't go your way tonight.
Yeah, look, I hope I'll talk to you next week in a much better
absolutely.
position.
That was our last place finisher tonight, Brett Bennett, at 47, with a 17th place finish after a crash early.
I would love to catch up with my good friend in the 7 truck. He's being a freaking dummy. So I don't know where he is. Oh my god.
So we wait for Micah. While we're waiting for him, Adam, go ahead and dial up our second place finisher, Justin Durand.
All right, currently showing tape to his teammate in their team chat, but I'll drag him out of that. Hey Justin, it's guys in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, you started the night with your 3rd straight pole award on the season, able to convert it into a stage win. What more did you need there in that second half of the race with track position, the name of the game here tonight?
Just needed a better short run to hold off Ethan there, because it was like Tristan earlier before he wrecked. You just got in front of the guy like Dirty Air was just going to take over. Because I felt faster than both of them during the long run, but I just couldn't get to their bumper. I was stuck between 10th, 10th, and a half the entire time, so just need to be better there, and I would probably been, in victory lane right now.
You mentioned Tristan. You guys raced against each other for a lot of the early part of this race, a lot of side-by-side racing with him, and then, of course, you and Ethan side-by-side there in the last couple of restarts. Obviously fighting to get that clean air, but what was it like just trying to go side-by-side lap after lap like that?
Well, it's fun here because you just get 2 very different corners that can produce really good racing if both people know how to run it. So it was a lot of fun there with Tristan. I didn't really want to be side by side because it burned more tires up, but I mean, you really had to have the clean air tonight, and it showed.
Yeah, it did. And speaking of that last run to the end, that tire strategy, were you ever second guessing that, or did you just had to go the way that you thought was going to be the best for that 5 truck?
I just had to do something different. I mean, if I just ran longer and longer behind Ethan there, it wasn't going to do me any good. I thought he would have countered with pitting maybe a lap or 2 after, instead of like another, 6, 7, 8 laps, something like that, and it made all the difference in the world.
Well, overall, how do you feel about the night? You entered a couple points behind on the cut. Obviously, like I mentioned, you got the stage win. You led quite a few laps tonight, and the pole, of course. So, what are your feelings going into Dover next week?
In a good position. Ran there well last season. Just going to be look back on this one. I felt like this was the best chance to lock myself in because, I mean, I dominated here last season. Then I got the pole in the stage win. I was like, it might be deja vu, and just didn't get the clean air when it mattered.
All right. Well, who do you have to shout out and thank to get you to podium finish you tonight?
Just all the guys at the Radius team ran well all night. Fortunately, a lot of them got caught up in the wreck halfway through the race. You guys in the booth, obviously, putting on a great stream every week, and we'll just go get them next week at Dover.
All right, good luck at Dover. Hopefully we'll talk to you one spot better next week.
Hope so too. Thanks, guys.
Now, Jonathan, I believe you found the third place finisher tonight.
Oh, wow. Sorry. Hey, Micah. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Bale.
Hey, Bale.
You finished third there. You were pretty fast all night. We documented how you moved through the field pretty quickly in stage one, and you're battling for the win there. Just what more did you need to get Justin and Mike? Not Micah, Ethan, excuse me.
I just didn't have enough tires. ETB was easily going to win that. There's nothing I can really do. Just try to fight for second.
Yeah, Bale. We had some people complain about the track because it was just way too hard to pass. Did you feel how bad was dirty air out there? Because you were able to go from 14th.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really like this track, so I didn't have any problems with it. So
leave it to Micah to have a different opinion than everyone else. But
bring it back.
So next week is Dover. Are you even going to show up?
We'll see.
And if you do,
I was already skeptical about coming and race tonight, but I don't know. I don't want to screw anybody's playoff chances, but I want to go out there and prove I can win. So
yeah, you're usually pretty busy on Saturday, so I'm proud of you for even making it to most of the races this season. So I'm not. I didn't mean anything just there, but if you do show up next week, how confident do you feel? Do you think you can, run up front? You've shown good pace most of the season, and got a couple wins. What more do you need to get us JBM guys in victory lane?
I'm always confident that I'm gonna run up front, no matter what, in this league. So,
hey, Bale, is there anyone you want to shout out?
I want to shout out Bill.
Okay, he shouts out Bill. That's your third place finisher, Michael Walls. Thank you, Micah.
Thank you.
Well, that was one of the more interesting interviews here on JCTV.
We're having a bonding session, okay?
I mean, more power to you. And I'm here with race winner Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Ethan, it was an interesting strategy call out of you, but you got it done.
Yeah, that strategy call, if I remember correctly, it was from a certain race. Let me check. Someone in here pulled on me one time, and I was like, I was like, oh, I gotta, Justin happened to pit at the right time for me to make that strategy. So I was like, okay, I gotta do this. This has to work. So I did it, and it worked. So it was a big strategy call right there, and I'm happy to get it done there. Yeah, if I remember, I think Tristan got up there to the front, so I knew it would be difficult to battle with the radius drivers because I know they work pretty well together, and especially in the draft. So I knew it would be hard for me to try to make a move on them. When I saw them battling early on after the stage, I was just pretty much like saving my tires, just keep on saving, don't burn them up because I wanted to eventually make a run at them. Thinking that if it would go green the whole way, I would hopefully make a run at them at the end, pass them, and try to drive away a little bit. But yeah, it was pretty difficult. It was pretty surprising to me to see that crash happen there. I did not expect it at all. I just seen Justin check up in front of me, and I had to slam on the brakes to not run into the back of him. So yeah, that was definitely a big scare there. But after that, I knew that I had to pass Justin early to not cook up my stuff, get in that clean air, because so that I can just control the race pretty much, and just dump dirty air, because that dirty air was strong tonight. It was really strong. So having the clean air would be a huge advantage for myself. So yeah, just trying to control the race. What was I was thinking the whole time, and then yeah, once that he pitted, I knew that I had to follow that strategy that I did there. So it was me and Mikey had kind of worked with me there with calling that strategy. He was watching along, so yeah, I thank him for helping me out there, and to also be smart about how I get back up there to those guys, to Micah and Justin, to not burn out my stuff. But yeah, I gotta thank him for that.
Now, I do want to say, as I'm not surprised about this, when I asked you that last question, my mic was actually muted, so nobody knows what I asked you. But what I asked Ethan there was kind of walk us through after the stage caution, how the race went for him. Now, you did mention, Ethan, the wreck that took out everybody. But, with all that chaos happening, you mentioned getting on the brakes. Afterwards, did it really click what had just happened? That, I mean, like, everybody died?
I mean, I knew right away what I needed to do. I was just kind of, I heard Mikey had crashed out, so I was like, okay, let's just settle down on all that, and just tell me who's out and all that. I just wanted to know immediately who was out of the playoff drivers, and from there on, I just knew what I had to do to go take my shot at the win.
All right, well, you won tonight, locked yourself into the championship 4. So these next 2 weeks, you get to kind of breathe a little bit easy. So heading into Dover and Atlanta, does it make kind of the plans easier? Is it go out there, or you gonna help your teammate a little bit?
Yeah, that win definitely took a lot of weight off my shoulders right there. I was before this race, I was like thinking about if I don't win this race, how am I gonna handle the next 2 races? It was gonna be too much pressure for me, and I just didn't want to go through that. So I knew that I probably had to win tonight. So I wouldn't have to deal with that pressure going into the final 4. But yeah, honestly, the plan for me probably, I think, is just help Mikey get in. I'm not gonna do anything crazy, of course. I'll just kind of, I want to go for the win, of course, still, but I'm not gonna make life hard for him, if anything. So yeah, that's what I have in my mind currently right now about the upcoming races.
All right. Well, who do you have to thank? Who gets it done for you behind that 43 machine?
I gotta think. Huge thanks to Mikey for helping me out there, being a good spotter. Letting me know what's going on, how the gaps are, everything, all that. And I thank the boss man at PBR for giving me a seat here. Always appreciate it. And yeah, that's all I got.
All righty. Congratulations on the win and punching your ticket into the next round.
Thank you.
And that was Ethan Fonseca Moreno, driver the number 43, who claims the win. here tonight. And, guys, this was a wild one.
It didn't start out like that, but man, it ended up being quite entertaining, and we got quite a lot of laughs out of these interviews, I guess. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I don't expect Dover to really turn down the excitement level. It's only going to get crazier.
Yeah, that's for sure. The points are going to be very fun to watch. The way everything shook up tonight, the way they're going to all start up at Dover, and it's just going to continue on for the next 2 weeks. And just wait and see if it's going to be another playoff winner next week at Dover, if we're going to see a spoiler. But like Ethan Fonseca Moreno, someone's going to want to go out there and try and lock themselves into that championship race at Auto Club Speedway in just a couple weeks.
So, speaking of a points update, or well, just points in general, the points update, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, of course, punches his ticket in the next round. He's safe. Justin Duran is, he gained 4 positions. He is currently
15 up.
Thank you, 15 up. I'm not one of Dawson Allen's math nerds, so
I am far from that as well, so.
Michael Kruger loses 2 positions. He now sits 3rd. Cameron Caldwell sits 4th. So if tonight was the last race, those 4 drivers would be fighting for a championship out Auto Club. Of course, this was only race 1 of the round of 7, so still lots of points to be earned for drivers. Tristan Maher is 5 points out. Alonso Chicano also 5 points out, and Brett Bennett is 26 out. So, a lot of interesting things to come here in the next couple of weeks. So, Adam, Jonathan, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of surprised at how tonight went. Overall, I mean, usually when we have more than half the field crash, we see the caution number up. There was only 3 cautions tonight, and one of them was for the stage.
Well, when the leader goes out in front of the field, there's not a lot of places to go, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's definitely not one I had on my bingo card, especially that particular driver that got loose in front of the field. I mean, he's usually just so steady, but it just, once again, goes to show how easy it is to make a mistake and how quickly things can change. That's why you watch every single lap of every race, because you never know exactly what's going to happen. Anyone at any time could lose control of these trucks. That's how on edge they are, and that's how much you have to fight for your every spot, every inch.
So, Tuesday night, Slide Job Racing League heads to Watkins Glen for a 1-hour event there. John, you have pretty good points heading into Watkins Glen, which is race 2 of their playoffs. How you feeling about the road course there?
It depends. Am I going to get turned on lap 1 or not? I mean, yeah, this is. I feel like I've gotten better at the road courses. Just putting a lot of work in them, and consistency never's really been my issue when driving. It was the speed, and I think I'm starting to get that down at the road courses. So I'm quietly optimistic, but those guys are just. They're really good, and they're really good everywhere. So I just got to be on my A game.
And Thursday night, the SAC Coast to Coast Cup Series heads to a short track, Martinsville, where we're going to see 200 laps around the paperclip. And it's also going to start the mid-season madness, whatever they're calling it. And I'm still trying to get myself familiar with the rules. It is a lot different than kind of what we've seen with tournament in this league, in the midseason tournament, and also for the championship in NAOR. So a little bit different how things are going to happen. We'll get that all squared away for you come Thursday night. But it's going to be exciting. 32 drivers are going to start off. And we've got Martinsville, Chicago Street Course, Indianapolis Oval, and Charlotte Oval for that bracket. So Martinsville is the place for that. And then, of course, 1 week from tonight, the Blazer Sim Racing and the Pits News Truck Series heads to the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. So, with that being said, we thank you for tuning in tonight. I apologize for all the issues that the stream had. I really have no idea. It's my third one this week, and the other two were absolutely fine. I've made no changes whatsoever. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing, but we survived. So big thanks to everybody for tuning in, all the drivers, all the admins, what they do. And on behalf of Adam and Jonathan, I'm Josh Coppernoll signing off, saying so long, take care, and we'll see you next time.
It's all I can afford right now. When it struggles to start, no, it won't turn over. But he was laughing when I signed the deal. The distance between point A and the end of the day, it feels like forever. Well, maybe I'm just asleep at the wheel. But not